House Speaker Johnson has been on the job for a few weeks, and government funding runs out in a few days. So right now, he's asking for support for a CR, or continuing resolution. Now, we oppose continuing resolutions. Each agency of government should get itemized review. Spending cannot be cut if we advance all of the government's various and sundry programs all at once for the same duration of time. So Speaker Johnson's ladder CR fails to meet the mark in this respect. It doesn't cut spending. It doesn't set the Republican-controlled House up for a win or even to engage in a single policy fight. It's more of Pelosi's policies and Biden's spending. It also lashes the important but totally unrelated Farm Bill extender to the funding legislation for the rest of government. And it does the Farm Bill extender through the end of September. Now, I think we need a Farm Bill. I think that farmers and food security create national security. They give us the ability for national self-determination. Economic nationalists should be for America's farmers. But if there's money we're spending on the Farm Bill, it should be offset with spending reductions elsewhere. Now, it's just not right to slap an extender for the Farm Bill onto this continuing resolution. That's the bad in the latter CR, and it's dispositively bad. But there is some creativity in the latter concept that I do support, as I explained to CNN here.
On the CR, are you comfortable? I presume you support this laddered CR approach. Is that right? If the Speaker goes a different route, what would you do?
So the concept that we discussed today with the Speaker is exciting because it breaks us from this theory that you have to take one vote on all of government to extend every agency for precisely the same duration of time. I think we can be more specific in the timelines and in the approaches. That's why I'm for single subject spending bills. If we're able to get these bills we're working on this week passed, you're looking at around 80% of the federal budget that the House has approved funding for. But the Senate wants to always take up everything all at once for the same duration of time. The laddered approach that Speaker Johnson was socializing with members today, I think gives us a lot of innovative opportunity to put downward pressure on spending.
If he goes with a clean CR, then what?
I'm not voting for a clean CR.
Hurt him, though? Will it cost him the speakership if he does that?
Well, he never promised me he would, unlike the last guy. And remember, there's a big difference, right? Kevin McCarthy never wanted to get to single subject spending bills. You know how your viewers can take great confidence in that? He only passed one in the first 7 months. Mike Johnson passed one in the first 36 hours, and we've been rolling through them. So I think there is a willingness to give a little more grace to Speaker Johnson than to Speaker McCarthy because he was fiddling as Rome was burning. I think Mike Johnson is trying to build us on a path to more fiscal sanity, and we want to support him in those efforts.
We are back live, and the overwhelming sentiment from the comments on the live stream is that we should not have a government funding bill that does not secure the border. It should be either secure the border or shut down the government, according to the overwhelming sentiment that we are receiving. But follow me here on the latter concept. So a latter concept that is clean is a bad idea because it doesn't sufficiently do the border work that we've been talking about, and it doesn't sufficiently cut spending. But the latter itself isn't bad. You see, the concept that we are fighting against is this notion that all of government gets voted on all at once for one big up or down vote, to extend every agency for the same duration of time. With a ladder, the good news is that you're able to cleave the important stuff that we all agree on that's bipartisan, paying our troops, paying our Border Patrol, ensuring that people still get their IRS refunds and their Social Security checks. You do that, and then you set on shorter ladders different features of government that have to have itemized review. I'm thinking notably the DOJ, a lot of the parts of the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of State. You set those on shorter ladders, and then you're able to really zero in on what those entities of government are doing. So a ladder is good, a ladder without the spending cuts, without the border stuff, without defanging the weaponization of government, not sufficient at this time. And certainly the addition of the Farm Bill extender puts us in I think, a real bad stead when trying to get to single subject spending bills. One reason this is so important, we've just gotten fresh off of a report from House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington, a ratings change from Moody's Investor Services. This from New York on November 10th. Moody's today has changed the outlook on the government of the United States of America's rating to negative from stable, and affirmed the long-term issuer of senior unsecured ratings at AAA. The key driver of the outlook change to negative is Moody's assessment that the downside risks to the U.S. fiscal strength have increased and may no longer be fully offset by the sovereign's unique credit strengths. Current political polarization within Congress raises the risk that successive governments will not be able to reach consensus on a fiscal plan to slow the decline in debt affordability. The sharp rise in U.S. Treasury bond yields this year has increased the pre-existing pressure on U.S. debt affordability. In the absence of policy action, Moody's expects the U.S. debt affordability to decline further, steadily, and significantly to very weak levels compared to other highly rated sovereigns. This is a major downgrade. Moody has taken the United States of America from stable to negative. And the reason is because we don't have our fiscal house in order, because our debt is going to become increasingly unaffordable. We're going to be paying $1 trillion in interest on the debt. We're already over $900 billion. We're under $900 billion for the whole Department of Defense budget. These are devastating consequences at a time when, of this $33 trillion in debt, we're going to have to refinance that debt at higher and higher interest rates because of the government spending, because of the Biden inflation, because of the decisions from the Fed. So this makes life unaffordable. It makes borrowing money impossible for people when America as a whole is seeing this downgrade as a consequence of our inability to constrain spending. Mr. Speaker, we must cut spending. It is not enough to slow the rate of growth. We have to cut spending, and we see that we will pass along a diminished America if we're unable to achieve that. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel with notifications turned on. You won't want to miss any of the breaking news.